In this lesson, I'm going to go through 4 primary methods for finding example code to support your Arduino projects. For example, say you buy a new sensor, how do you learn how to use that sensor? How do you know what kind of sketch can control it? Well, these 4 primary methods that I am suggesting will help you find the information. The first of the 4 methods that I'm suggesting is simply to find the example code that is within the Arduino IDE. We've looked at it a couple times before. Basically just go to File, Examples, and then you have a list of these standard Arduino ones. And there is a whole bunch of really great stuff here. There really is. If you want to learn how to control arrays, which is a way of storing information, there's some example code for that. And even more cool, you can add to your examples by installing a library. I'm going to talk more about libraries in the next episode, but here there's just every time you add a library, very often there is some example code that goes with it, and those will appear in the Arduino IDE with your other example sketches. The second of my suggestions is simply the Arduino homepage, arduino.cc. It may seem obvious, but there really is a lot of really great information here, but also lots of stuff that might be like too much information. I mean, there is a huge amount of Arduino-related info on arduino.cc, so what is the best way to find the stuff you need? Well, there are 2 main areas here that that I like. The first is reference. That's just on the main menu here, and it is basically abbreviated example code for pretty much everything you could possibly do. It's not like a full-fledged program that does something. It's just the snippet that you want. For example, let's go to tone. We already used tone for a previous project, but it gives you the syntax for the function that you're using. Anyway, and the other area that I really like on Arduino.cc is the playground. This is kind of like the simmering pot of ideas where everyone who's an Arduino fan goes to share their thoughts. So there is some cool stuff, like they show they have some different categories here, but mostly it is pretty difficult to find exactly what you want right away on the playground, because it is kind of this work in progress as people share half-built ideas and sketches that don't quite work and stuff. But also on the Arduino website, they have, there's the playground here. They have their forums, and if you do have a question about something specific, you can post it there and very often get a rapid response. All right, the next technique for finding example code is to go to a project site on the web. For instance, Make Projects is one of my favorites. It has lots of different cool things for people interested in Arduinos and electronics, and you basically can just go and do a search and find something that you like the sound of. Arduino project. Yep, there's all sorts of fun stuff here. And another example is Instructables, that has a lot more stuff on it than Make Projects. There are literally hundreds of different things you can do, and they supply the code along with the project. So if you have a sensor, as I mentioned, that you're trying to figure out how to use, just do a search on one of these sites for that that sensor, and chances are someone has already posted an example as part of their project. The final technique I want to share with you is to find the component on a company's website and then see if they are supplying a tutorial. The two best sites for this are SparkFun and Adafruit, and here's an example. So say you want to measure the humidity with an Arduino. Well, you can use this sensor, but how do you hook it up? Well, if you scroll down, you can see a whole bunch of things. The datasheet, which is usually fairly technical, but the hookup guide sounds promising. So it's basically a tutorial for how to hook it up. Installing an Arduino library, even a wiring guide. I mean, you can find all sorts of great stuff just by going to these company sites. And as I mentioned, SparkFun and Adafruit are the two best. The others really aren't trying very hard. There's all sorts of information that you can find if you go to these sites. So that's it for Lesson 1. In Lesson 2, I'll be talking about libraries and how you can use them in your Arduino projects.